Hey guys, it's Street, and I just finished the first two episodes of Unicorn Warriors Eternal. It's the brand new show created by Genndy Tartakovsky, and that's a name I've been kind of familiar with. My best friend Jordan is a huge fan of Samurai Jack. It's a show that he's seen 1,000 times, even though I haven't seen it yet, embarrassingly enough. But he's a very interesting guy that I've been interested in watching his shows. Only I haven't really watched any of his shows yet, but Primal looks fairly interesting. But yeah, it just finished airing the first two episodes on TV, and I haven't felt this optimistic for a show since Infinity Train, and that was like what? It's 2023, 22, 21, 20, like 5 years ago. That was like 5 years ago, so I haven't felt this optimistic for a new animated show in 5 years, and I was absolutely blown away. There was, I honestly, I don't even think I have any issues with it because going into it, I had an initial fear that there'd be some blatant political, messaging, some pandering, because you can't really watch a modern show or film without something like that cropping up. So I was a little cautious about that, but luckily I didn't sense any of that at all. It was just a really great and interesting and unique story. So the basic premise for the show seems to be these three mystical heroes. They keep getting reincarnated throughout like different times in history, and it's sort of kind of like how the Doctor from Doctor Who gets reincarnated, how he still has like previous memories from his past life, but also like current memories, But here it seems to be kind of depending on the three, and I'll explain that in a minute. But it's sort of like that, and it's a very interesting and unique idea, and I love the setting. By the way, the setting is very like steampunkish, and the animation, good God, the animation looks absolutely amazing. It's got this like 1930s aesthetic. There's obviously some 1930s inspirations here. You've got a few characters that look like there's a character who looks like Popeye. There's a character who looks like Olive Oil, and one of the main three characters, Emma or Melinda, she looks very similar to Betty Boop. Her face is animated similarly to Betty Boop, and I thought that was so interesting. And it's cool that these things from the past are being incorporated in a new show, but it's done in a tasteful way. And it's not like these characters look like complete rip-offs of those characters, but you can tell that the inspiration was there, and I really appreciate that. And despite having like a very fluent 1930s aesthetic, there's also some obvious anime inspirations there, and that was very great looking as well. And but yeah, like I said, the concept of these three heroes being reincarnated throughout time to fight these various enemies is such a great idea, and it's executed with such a and it's executed in such a dramatic way because the first character who gets reincarnated is Emma, and she's initially in the past she was like her name was Melinda, and she was about to get married to this guy Winston. Yeah, his name was Winston. She was about to get married to this guy, and suddenly when she turns into Melinda by the help of this really groovy ass looking robot, um, she's like very very confused. Like she has memories of her past life, but also she she still has her current memory. She's very confused, and that's like a really tragic existential thing that you could explore. And they did that a little in the first two episodes, and I thought that was just amazing and intriguing. Already from the first two episodes, I am so excited for this show. I have a lot of optimism, and hopefully it doesn't fall flat because there's been a lot of shows that start off real well and they sink right into the ground. But hopefully this is going to be a one that shoots square above, because everything about these first two episodes looked so unique. It looked seemed like they're trying to tell a genuine story in lieu of a soulless political message of some kind. It seemed like they actually wanted to tell a genuine story, and I also felt that it had sort of like a comic book atmosphere. It felt like I was watching a comic book in motion, and it was so cool. It looked like a show, like it looked like a really cool underrated show you'd watch between the years of like 2001 to 2005. It just had that very early 2000s atmosphere to it, in combination with everything else that's great about it. It's just, I am really excited. I also liked the music. The music, it was how do you say? It was full of life, and it was used at appropriate times. Very unique instrumentation, no annoying pop or anything like that. So I really like that aspect of it. Well, guys, to sum up my thoughts for these first two episodes, I am impressed. I'm impressed, and I haven't said this in a long time, but I am genuinely optimistic for this series, and I have great faith in it already. Tell me if you guys would like to see any more of these vlogs regarding the episodes. Like maybe I could chronicle my thoughts and my feelings after watching each episode, and maybe talk about the character progression. If that's something you guys want, just let me know. If you don't want this to be a one-time thing, I'm not sure. I'm fine with both, you know. I mean, I'm fine with a one-and-done video like this, and I'm also fine with, cataloging my thoughts, because I think that would be very interesting to sort of record how I react to this show and talk about the character progression and such. Well, guys, those were my first thoughts. No, those were my first impressions on Unicorn Warriors Eternal.